Have you ever wondered, when is enough? When do we stop striving for more and start appreciating what we have? These are the questions that have been pondered by philosophers for centuries. One of the most prominent figures in this debate was none other than Aristotle, the ancient Greek philosopher. His wisdom transcends time, speaking to us even today in our relentless pursuit of more. Aristotle had a lot to say about moderation and satisfaction. He believed that the key to a fulfilled life wasn't in the extremes, but in finding a balance. Not too much, not too little, but just enough. He challenged us to reflect on our own lives, to question our desires, and to contemplate what truly brings us happiness. So, are we ready to take a step back, to question our relentless pursuit, and to seek a more balanced life? As Aristotle once said, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. So let's embark on this journey of self-discovery. Aristotle was a firm believer in the concept of moderation. He once said, "In all things of nature, there's something of the marvelous." This quote perfectly encapsulates Aristotle's philosophy of balance. He believed that every aspect of life, from our personal habits to our societal structures, should be guided by the principle of moderation. But what does this mean in practice? Well, Aristotle argued that an excess or deficiency of anything can lead to harm. For instance, too much food can lead to obesity, while too little can lead to malnutrition. The same principle applies to our emotional lives. Too much anger can lead to destructive behavior, while too little can lead to passivity and a lack of assertiveness. Aristotle's philosophy of moderation also extends to our material possessions and ambitions. He once wrote, "He who is overly attached to his material possessions is always afraid to lose them." This fear, according to Aristotle, can lead to a life of constant stress and worry. It can also distract us from the truly important aspects of life, such as our relationships, our health, and our personal growth. The same goes for ambition. Aristotle believed that a healthy level of ambition can lead to success and personal fulfillment. But when ambition is unchecked, it can lead to a never-ending pursuit of power or wealth, often at the expense of our personal relationships and our own well-being. Aristotle's philosophy of moderation is not about denying ourselves the pleasures of life, but rather it's about finding a healthy balance. It's about recognizing that while material possessions and personal achievements can bring us joy and satisfaction, they are not the be-all and end-all of our existence. So the next time you find yourself striving for more money, more success, more stuff, remember Aristotle's words, "It is best to rise from life as from a banquet, neither thirsty nor drunken." In the words of Aristotle, the ultimate value of life depends upon awareness and the power of contemplation rather than upon mere survival. But how do we find satisfaction in what we have? Aristotle gave us some insights when he said, "Happiness depends upon ourselves." Indeed, this ancient philosopher believed that true satisfaction comes from within, not from the accumulation of material possessions or even the attainment of societal recognition. Aristotle's teachings were grounded in the philosophy that our happiness, our satisfaction, is something that we can control. It's not about how much we have, but how we view what we have. It's about our perspective. This might seem counterintuitive in a world where success is often measured by material wealth and the size of our bank accounts. But for Aristotle, the key to satisfaction was all about understanding the value of what we have and recognizing that our greatest riches lie within us. According to Aristotle, the true source of satisfaction is virtue, the cultivation of good character and moral excellence. It's about living a life of purpose and meaning. It's about striving for self-improvement and personal growth, not for the accumulation of wealth or status. Aristotle believed that we find the most satisfaction when we are engaged in activities that we genuinely enjoy and are good at. This is where his famous quote, "Pleasure in the job puts perfection in the work," comes into play. It's not about the end product or the reward, but the process itself. It's about finding joy in the journey, not just the destination. So if we want to find true satisfaction, we need to shift our focus from the external to the internal. We need to stop measuring our worth by what we have and start measuring it by who we are and what we do. We need to find joy in the process, not just the outcome. We need to value our time, our relationships, and our experiences more than our possessions. As Aristotle puts it, pleasure in the job puts perfection in the work. It's not about what we have, but how we perceive it. So when is enough? Aristotle might say, it is during our darkest moments that we must focus to see the light. In the whirl of life, we often find ourselves running towards things, towards dreams, towards materialistic achievements. But have we ever stopped to question why? Why this relentless pursuit? Isn't it time we took a pause and reflected on our lives and the direction they're taking? Aristotle, the great philosopher, urges us to do just that. He asks us to consider what we are chasing after. Are we chasing shadows, losing ourselves in the pursuit of the superficial and the temporary? Or are we seeking the light, the enduring, the meaningful? It's easy to get swept up in the current of society's expectations, to believe that more is always better, more money, more possessions, more accolades. But Aristotle encourages us to find satisfaction in what we have, to appreciate the beauty in simplicity, the richness in contentment. He prompts us to understand that the measure of our lives is not in the abundance of our possessions, but in the quality of our relationships, the depth of our experiences, and the extent of our impact on the world. So, let's reflect. Let's take a moment to look around us, to take stock of our lives. Are we happy with what we see? Are we content with what we have? Or are we constantly striving for more, caught in a perpetual cycle of want? It's time we realized that the pursuit of more often leaves us with less. Less time, less peace, less joy. So instead of always wanting more, let's start appreciating what we have. Let's start cherishing the moments, the people, the experiences that truly matter. Remember, as Aristotle said, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. So make it a habit to appreciate what you have, and you might just find that you have more than enough.